Hi, I'm Jim Scheer. I'm the author of the textbook Music 101. It's used in our Music 101 classes here at NMSU, along with several other classes, including Honors 208 and Music 477. I'm going to give you a brief introduction online. I'm going to take you through the Music 101 online website. If you're taking any of our other courses here at NMSU, they'll look a little different, but the website's very similar, and all the interfaces for the book are the same. You're watching the Get Started video. Here's the old one here. That's the one I'm replacing. There's also a link for course materials, a direct web link for all the stuff you're going to access, in particular the listening, some of your homework assignments as well. You'll see various other links throughout, PowerPoints. It's all right here on the front page. The most important thing, though, is that you get access to the book. Most of you are going to be using the ebook, and so you simply click on this direct link, and it takes you to this web page right here. This is Great Rivers Technology. It's the online version of Kendall Hunt Publishing. They're a two-part publishing house, but it's the same folks. If you're buying the book online, which we highly recommend, the first time you do it, you'll click here to purchase. If you have a book already, if you have a hard copy of the book and you want to access just the streaming music, you put your access code in here. Once you've built your login, this is where you'll come every time for class. You'll log in here, you'll use the same password every time. Go away from that. I've already got mine loaded up. Your page will look a little different from mine, but it'll be similar. You'll get different offerings. Of course, we're going to work on Music 101, and it'll ask you to select your section. Now, I probably don't have your course section in here, but you'll see one of the ones that I'm currently teaching. You just click on that, submit, and it takes you to the course web page. Here's all the stuff you can do. In particular, here's a link to the ebook, different chapter activities that some of you will be doing. Some of you will use it out of the hard copy of the book. So it just depends on your class, but it's all here for you. If you're not using it on this website in your particular class, you can always use these for study guides. Chapter activities are here. You'll see all kind of cool stuff in these with homeworks, listening guides, dig deeper review, a full glossary. There's a full glossary up here as well. The most important link by far, though, is this one right here, the streaming media. When we wrote this book, one of the things we were really adamant about, was that we have great listening for the students. And a lot of the publishers in America were using recordings from the 50s and 60s that really weren't that good, but they owned them, so they kept using them. And they're very expensive. That's the most expensive part of this whole process with any of these music appreciation books. We went to a label called Qualiton, and we used a European licensing system, which is perfectly legal in America, but it saves a ton of money, and it gets you new recordings. So most of the recordings here are less than 10 years old. They are the best current authentic performance practice recordings, mainstream recordings, and there are a few historical recordings, just like Norton and some others, but we think these are even better because they're coming from Europe, and they are some of the most famous opera houses on the planet. So all of these work just as streaming. Click on one, and away it goes. Hildegard's singing to you. Each of these listening tracks associates directly to a listening guide in the textbook. And you can always go away. It works just like any other CD or iTunes player. You can go back and forth. You can start and stop. You can repeat it as much as you want. And here's every track you will use for the entire semester. So pretty awesome. The other important thing you need to see are the modules. The modules are the bulk of where you're going to be doing your coursework. Chapter 1 assignment, and there it is. You see learning objectives at the top, and then you see the actual homework. Make sure you read these every time because they do change. And once you've gone through all this, posted, pay attention, read this, do this, you'll find, here's the guidelines, you'll find active links to every one of those, and then away you go. And then there's going to be some listening videos. But each chapter assignment tells you to do certain things, answer this question out of the book, answer both questions out of the book. Sometimes it asks you different questions that aren't in the book. So you need to read each one of these prompts with care because they do change chapter to chapter. They're similar, but pay attention because they do change. Sometimes it's 4 of 7 videos. Sometimes it's pick 6 of 8 videos. Sometimes videos are grouped together. Let me show you one of those. In chapter 4, for example, here's your learning objectives. Here's the assignment. Listen to the appropriate music. And here's the grading rubric again every time. But when you get down to the Bach example, please note there are 2 videos here, and you want to compare and contrast them. So make sure you do the entire assignment when you get to things like that. Sometimes we'll have 3 or 4 videos grouped together. They count as one video review because they're integral to one another. Each one of them asks you to find a video online at the end of the assignment and kind of submit it back to us. Tell us why you think it's important. And that's just a great way for us to see that you're kind of learning what we're asking for in this chapter and that you can independently go find this kind of music. Once you're done with that, you can always click Next. And there's the chapter quiz. The chapter quizzes only happen one time. You can use the book, and there's plenty of time to do it. So it's kind of directed reading, but it's a really good way to just be comfortable with the material and know that you're covering the material you need to cover. So read the chapter with care. Spend a lot of time reading before you try and take the quiz. You'll have no problem. You'll breeze right through the quiz. When you click Next again, you'll hit the Dig Deeper supplemental material. Sometimes we use this in class. It depends on the professor. Sometimes it's just here for you, but they're really fascinating links. So like, for example, you heard those J.S. Bach recordings. You thought, hey, those are cool. Well, just click on these links, and it'll take you to a ton of other cool stuff. Classical Archives is one of my personal favorites. You can get into a lot of this for free, but if you pay a little fee, then you can access millions and millions of recordings of classical music. And if you're writing papers ever, fantastic information here. Lots of good liner notes as well. So it's just a lot of neat tools to use throughout. Everything else on the home page and the left-hand side works like any other Canvas class you've taken. We don't use chat much for most of our classes, but certainly sometimes students chat back and forth, talk about their assignments. That's perfectly fine. Lead people to other videos. That's perfectly cool. We love seeing that. Discussion tool works the same way. And all the help is here. All the Canvas support is here, just like any other class. So the most important thing, get access to the online materials, get access to the streaming. Access the streaming from here. Once you get it set up, you can put up a different page in your computer if you want and just go right to it and study the book. However you want to do it, whatever works best for you. But get access to that good streaming music and study online. I hope you enjoy the class. I hope you enjoy the book. If you see any suggestions or corrections you want to offer, please send me an email. I'm here at the university, jshear@nmsu.edu, and it's in the book as well. Have a great class. Have a great semester.